Hey y'all, here's a quick overview of session 6. If you haven't already done it, pause and read the session overview. This kind of gives you a run through of what this is all about. Really what we're doing here is, in this essential question, is we're trying to consider how can pursuing your story through interviewing add to your story, or how can different perspectives that you can gain through interviewing other people add to your story. By the end, you should be able to do these three things, and this is going to be your evidence right here. So let's jump into it. So there's a warm-up in Classroom. It's a story for you to view and respond to. Next, what we want to do is basically start thinking about how different perspectives can add to our story. Then we get into brainstorming some potential interview candidates. So step one, tell us what vignette you chose. It's going to be one of those 7 choices. And then in this graphic organizer, we want to brainstorm as many different people as you can think of that could add to your story. Now, this doesn't need to be someone who was there when your story happened. It could be someone who knows about you or knows you or knows about the context of the story. So try as best you can. Of course, the literal people who are there and can add their perspectives will be helpful, but also think beyond the literal to people who might be able to speak to different parts of your story, the history of your story, the context of your story. It doesn't have to be like someone who is like your friend who is there with you. So we give you 3 rows here. If you want to add more rows, great. Just right click and then you can go insert a row below. Next, what we want to do is focus on like you're going to be doing the interviewing. So we have 5 example interviews right here. Choose the one that sticks out to you most. Choose the one you like. And we want to watch at least 8 minutes of it. Some of these are really short, some are really long. But basically, while you're watching, be looking for these questions right here. And then these white boxes are where you can add your responses. Then, when you've done that, and if you want to watch more than one, that's great. We want to go over the do's and don'ts of interviewing. So, ideally, in a class, we would talk about this, but we're not in class. So, we have to do this way. So, do your best to kind of flush out the characteristics of like the do's are the positive things. That's why I put it in green, and the red are the things you don't want to do. And then from there, we have a few resources for you. I believe 6 different resources here for you. They're all digital articles. What we want you to do is choose 3 to investigate. So for example, if you want to click on it, it'll bring you up a video or an article. You can kind of choose what you want to investigate. And then what we want to do is we want you to take any notes down here. So over here, you could just like copy and paste or very quickly just write WNYC, just enough so Kate, so Molly and I know like which video you watched. And then the notes over here are not notes about random stuff. It's about what did you learn from the video that applies to your interviewing. And then the very next thing is starting to write out your questions. So basically, you can do this however you'd like. The way my brain works is I would put maybe like one interview candidate's name here, and then the goal for that person, and then you could start listing out the draft questions, and I might put like a number right here. And then when you keep writing questions, it'll keep adding to the numbers. Let's do one more. And that is the end of session 6. I'll make a separate video for session 7.